वात्सल्यमृतवर्षिणीं सुमधुरं सङ्कीर्तनालापिनीं श्यामाङ्गीं वटुसिद्धसूत्रम् वरदानन्दात्मिकम् ईश्वरीम् ॐ गणेशपतये नमः ॐ गणेशपतये नमः ॐ गणेशपतये नमः. So, welcome once again. Welcome, sir. So, without much delay, I'm handing over the session to you, sir.
Good evening, everybody. And today we have starting with a very interesting topic. We have already started the main course of the geography of the Ṛgveda, that is the actual rivers themselves. So last week we have seen the two rivers, that is Haryupya and Yavyavati, so two river names. And I mentioned this is the first two rivers encountered for the first rivers encountered when you have the Rigveda arranged chronologically from the sixth mandala onwards. So that is the significance of these two rivers. I mentioned about now you can do a lot of things, create something practical in your life with this knowledge. For example, we have a lot of people ask me about the alien invasion theory, and then I have mentioned about how the study of proper study of the Rig Veda helps you to understand the real data inside the Rig Veda, and by without any compulsion, by just looking at the data and analyzing, without actually having any kind of political statements like colonialism or any kind of things which are not related to data or not related to actual studies. You can very straight. There is no need of political posturing, or there is no need of saying that this happened. Macaulay has done this, or the Westerners have tested it. You don't have to go into any of this. You can look at the plain data inside the Rig Veda, and without being political or without being uh, negative in any manner, without having getting into rhetorics, you can just simply look at the data and understand that the Ṛgvedic people, they have their oldest rivers mentioned in the oldest part of the Rig Veda, starting from sixth mandala onwards. Those rivers are part of the Bharatavarsha, part of India in Haryana. And there, when you state that, automatically all these political posturings and counter narratives, everything just vanishes away. And also, you can also do in practical life, that's what I mentioned in my last session. Why don't we name our children with these names, Haryupya and Yavyavati? And then automatically, when you have a kind of interaction with an international audience, and then they hear these names, they understand, oh yeah, these people knows about their history, they knows about these rivers, and they have named their children with these rivers, and there is no hope of bringing about all these theories, everything, because everybody have known the truth. The Indians have already known the truth, so there is no need of any further argument. So this is something practical I was suggesting in the last week. And so we have already gone through the two rivers, and I hope people have understood the significance of Haryupya and Yavyavati. And it's a very ancient, so ancient in the past. We also see a glimpse of the period when the so-called the Devas and Asuras were living together, or that is how the Puranas describe it. But in the historical analysis of the Rig Veda, they are the Anavas and the Purus. So the two lineages which fought later. They were all living together in Haryupya and Yavyavati, that is represented by Srinjaya of the Bharata lineage, and Abhyavartin Jayamana of the Anava lineage. So one is an Asura king, another one is one can be said as a Deva king. And the Srinjaya, of course, he was an ancestor of the Panchalas. I mentioned that. And Abhyavartin Jayamana is an ancestor of Kavi Jayamana, who fought with Srinjaya's descendant Sudas. So in a few generations later, their descendants became enemies and they fought a big war, the Dashrajana battle at the Indo-Pakistan border, that is the Parishni River or the Ravi River. So those things I have mentioned in my last talk. These are the, like, when you remember or when you hear Haryupya and Yavyavati, you can remember these incidents of mutual friendship. I would say that with mutual cooperation between Anava king and Uru king, or an Asura and uh, Deva, or Bharata king and the Daitya king. So all this is all they were living together. So that is a place of Ayodhya and Yavaviti, and the oldest found in the oldest mandala of this, that is the sixth mandala, one of the most earliest suttas. And now I said, like, today is a very interesting day because today I'm talking about Ganga. Because after Haryupya and Yavyavati, the next river that is mentioned in the Ṛgveda, when you follow the chronological order, that is sixth mandala as the first, is river Ganga. And that way river Ganga comes before Saraswati. Even though after that, Saraswati is, you can say Saraswati is described little more in detail, and largest number of references is to Saraswati. But if there is a glimpse of river Ganga earlier than Saraswati in the sixth mandala, when you follow the mandala order and the sutta order inside the Ṛgveda. So that is the significance of the river Ganga. So you were starting from the very earliest period itself. The Ṛgvedic people were living on the banks of Ganga. They are familiar with it. And this is again, as I said in the last talk, the very statement that Ganga is there in the sixth mandala automatically completely evaporates the Aryan invasion theory and the concept of Aryans coming from outside India, like from Afghanistan, Central Asia, Eastern Europe, or South Russia. So all these things just vanishes because Ganga is there in the sixth mandala itself. So that is the significance of today. May share my screen now. So all the action take place where I have put this highlight. That is the area in which there was some action happened during the Ṛgvedic period on Ganga river. That is why I have mentioned in that. So what it is about is there is a Ṛgvedic verse, a sutta, that is the 45th sutta of the Ṛgveda, which is authored by Bharadwaja. Of course, the Bharadwajas were the oldest rishis mentioned in the earliest part of the Ṛgveda. Right after that, we get Vishwamitra in the third mandala and Vasishta in the seventh mandala, etc. But Bharadwajas were there a little earlier than the Vishwamitras and the Vasishtas. And Bharadwajas were the like a priest or the Purohitas of some of the ancestral kings like Divodasa, who were the ancestor of Sudas. So that is the significance of Bharadwaja. So Bharadwaja basically what do you call have this particular sutta. He has he was having this particular sutta that is on Prabhu. That is Prabhu is a kind of person who is considered as leader of the Panis. So I don't know, many people might have heard about the word Pani because that became little famous in the Ṛgveda. because people have some people have talk eloquently about the uh, some of the events like Sarama Pani and now Indra having a dog named Sarama and Sarama going to the Panis, uh, as a kind of a message from Indra and Brihaspati, etc. This is a very famous narrative from the Rig Veda, but I don't know how many of you heard about it, but it's quite famous. So the Panis are considered as traders or vyaparis. So they were actually a kind of a trader community, and they were active in Ganga. So what they were doing, because so Rigveda has a very limited information about them. They just mentioned about this Prabhu, who was located in a place called Urukaksha. Urukaksha is somewhere located here. So this I have mentioned his Hastinapura here, but this Hastinapura was not there at that time. It's a very ancient period. But for understanding where is the typical location, reference location for that, I have shown Indraprastha and Hastinapura here. But they are yet to come. They emerge in the future. So in the sixth Mandala period, the Hastinapura and Indraprastha, all this kingdom, these cities were not established. So that is that period. So there was only the Urukaksha. Urukaksha is the kind of a wide bank on the wide shore of Ganga. So Kaksha can mean Gulf, that is the Gulf in the sea, like the Ran of Kutch, Gulf of Tamrat, any kind of sea gulf or a river bank, that all called Kaksha like that. So Urukaksha is basically a very wide river bank. And this is the place where some trade was going on. So, and the Prabhu became a very rich merchant. So he's a merchant king. And these all things are mentioned in this Bharadwaja's Sutta. That is the sixth mandala of 645th Sutta actually. And this is the first reference of the Panis. Of course, they were mentioned very detailed in the 10th mandala of the Rig Veda. That is why I talk about Sarama Pani, that narrative. But they were there, very much there in the early Ṛgvedic period in the sixth mandala itself. And this is something which is pleasing for some of the chronologists who wants to have these dates to be very old, etc. So the early Ṛgvedic period is 3300 BC, etc. And it is very heartening to know that some trade was going on, represented by the Panis, and correspondingly we have some trade activity in the Harappan cities going on at the same period. So there is a kind of contemporaneous between the early Ṛgvedic Panis and the early Harappan trade. So these are all automatically captured in the Rig Veda, and this is something of great significance that these things were got captured in the early Ṛgvedic period. And this is also something which again combines the geography of Rig Veda with the geography of the early Harappan period. So early Ṛgvedic period, 3300 BC to around 2600 BC, perfectly matches with the early Harappan period, exactly 3300 BC and 2600 BC. And the Harappans are very much known for their trade relationships and growth by trade. And here you are having some representation of that, the merchant king Prabhu, who was active in the Ganga. So of course this Urukaksha, basically it's not the place where they were actually living or anything. It's a place of trade. So what I understood is that, see, towards the east of Ganga, mostly it is an uninhabited forest. So you have a lot of forest products. The forest produce a lot of valuable things like, of course, wood or timber is one of the things. Wood is a trade item. Then all the forest produce a lot of large items of food produced from the forest, including honey. And then there are animals like elephants. Their tusk is very considered as a valuable item, and also a lot of other riches. So that this is also the reason why in Harappan cities you can see the items made of elephant tusk. So all these tusk coming from this particular region. And this region, entire region, was known for its elephants. And of course, that is the reason why when the city was formed in this region, it was known as Hastinapura. Hasti means elephant. So that is how this region is very active, where it's an active population of elephants. Very large forest during the early Ṛgvedic period, with full of elephants. And once after the early Ṛgvedic period, the middle Ṛgvedic period, and the late Ṛgvedic period, all this elapsed. And during the period of this Shantanu, that is in the early 10th Mandala period, at the end of the late Ṛgvedic period in the 10th Mandala, that is the kind of period when the city of Hastinapura is established. And the name given only mainly because of the elephants in this region. So that is why it is called Hastinapura. And as Nagapura, Naga also means snake, but it also means elephant. So Nagapura is the word used as a synonymous to Hastinapura, Gajasraya, all these names related to elephants. That is used as synonymous to Hastinapura. So this is again, anyway, I put it up, placed the Hastinapura, I located it just for a reference to understand where is Urukaksha and the Bhrigu's domain. But it has got this significance that Bhrigu was actually doing active trade. And one of the trade item will be this tusk of the elephants. And that elephant tusk products, that is items made out of elephant tusk, that is white colored artifacts are seen in the Harappan cities and also in adjacent cities where the trade items of Harappans are found in Mesopotamia, etc., because they were trading with the Mesopotamian civilization, etc. So there also there are items sourced from the Harappan civilization into all these ancient places. So that is one of the important significance. And then another thing that we have to locate, understand is there were some kind of battles happening in the Yamuna region and for Ganga region, and then lead to some migration of Yadavas from the this Yamuna Ganga region, etc., to the south. And the Mathura city was actually established because of that. And then what you have is like another important significance of Ganga. Then it comes in the third mandala, and you know that third mandala is the Vishwamitra mandala. So after the early Ṛgvedic, the earliest of the early Ṛgvedic sixth mandala period ended, again the name of Ganga is again mentioned, and this time it is mentioned as Jannavi. So again this is another point of dispute between Western scholars and scholars like Talagiri and myself, because these Western scholars, because they don't know all this relationship between all the people inside the Rig Veda. So they just translate this Jannavi as the daughter of Jennu, like that, and they don't know the daughter of Jennu. You know what? Say when Jannavi, that is the word Jannavi is found in the third mandala, in a sutta of Vishwamitra, and the Western translators simply leave it there. That they don't recognize it is the name of a river. They say it is a reference to a daughter of Jannu. But anybody in India, anybody knows our stories, our Idihasic Puranic narratives, they knows very clearly daughter of Jannu means it is Ganga, because we have a big narrative in Mahabharata and Ramayana where Vishwamitra is mentioned as a descendant of Jannu. Jannu is one of the descendants of one of the ancestral king, that is the Bharata lineage diversified into three branches. I have mentioned about that, I think during the lecture about the Ṛgvedic kings. So the Bharata branch so diversified into three parts. Of course, like earlier there is Manu's daughter Ila, and then you have Pururavas as the son of Ila, and then you have Ayus, Nahusha, Yayati, and the Yayati period there was 5 branches like the Yadus, the see the this Turvasa, Yadu, then Anu, Druhyu, and Puru. All these people, these 5 tribes, there was a branch diversification or a branch diversion into five branches. So you have Yadus, Turvasas, Purus, Anus, and Druhyus. So 5 branches on this. Anus are the Anavas or the Daitya and the Purus branch continued. And Bharata is a prominent Puru branch. And the Bharata branch split into 3 during the period of Suhotra. So you have Janu as one of the ancestor of one of the earliest branch of the Bharatas. The Kushikas are actually descending from that first branch divergent from the Bharatas. And you have Trishtu. Tritsus means Panchalas. So you have a Kushika branch, then you have a Tritsu Panchala branch, and the last is the Bharata branch that leads to Samvarana and Kuru and Pandavas and Kauravas. So these 3 branches I have mentioned. So among these 3 branches, Kushikas, that is Vishwamitra lineage, descended from Janu. So there is a big narrative in the Mahabharata, both and in the Ramayana as well. So both the Idihasas mentioned Jannavi means it is a synonym of Ganga. So we are our side the Indian Indologists have actually like considering and retorting back to the Western Indologists that Jannavi has to be taken as the river name, the name of the river Ganga. And for us, there is no confusion because we have full clarity about the lineage, connections, etc. So that is why we consider this Jannavi as the name of the river, and it is a reference to Ganga, and it is in the 3rd mandala. So there is first reference directly in the 6th mandala, again another reference in the 3rd mandala. Both are early Ṛgvedic mandalas. One is the oldest 6th mandala of Bharadwaja, and the other one is the second oldest 3rd mandala, that is Vishwamitra. And that very much when I saying all these things, automatically the invasion theory is completely diluted and completely disappears. So that is the significance of Jannavi. So Vishwamitra is mentioning this as part of kind of a reference to Ashwins, and also talking about the various paths in the that Ashwini Devatas take to reach Ganga. All these things you can go through my book Rivers of Ṛgveda, where I have mentioned it in even more detail. And subsequently, you have Ganga mentioned in the 1st mandala. Again, it is a mention of Ganga in the name by the name Jannavi. So 1st mandala references we are not bothered because it is in the middle Ṛgvedic period, so that it's not as very significant like that we have in the 6th and 3rd mandala, because the scholars from the Western side start having a problem when they see reference of Ganga in the earliest mandalas, because that will break away the animation theory. So now, since these references of Ganga in the 6th and 3rd mandala is of very high significance, because it evaporates away the animation theory. But there are references of Ganga in the 1st mandala and the 10th mandala, etc., which are of secondary importance, but they're important enough, important in various other ways, etc. So that way you have another reference of Ganga, Jannavi in the 1st mandala. And then finally, you have the reference of Ganga in the 10th mandala. So 10th mandala means anyway it is a late Ṛgvedic period and the fag end of the Ṛgvedic period. But even then, the reference of Ganga in the 10th mandala, again it became significant because of some other reason. That is because this reference to Ganga is in the Nadi Sukta. So the first time I am now referring to the Nadi Sukta, because again, the Nadi Sukta is a very famous part of the Rig Veda. I would say, like, for example, the scholarship on Rig Veda is of different levels, right? So 90%, for example, if you look at the entire population of India, forget about the world population, but the population of India, a lot of people following Sanatana Dharma. So if you almost 95% of the people following Sanatana Dharma have a very basic understanding of the Rig Veda or all the Vedas together. So they just can name the Vedas like Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharva Veda. That much everybody knows. And then maybe we can say 90%, and maybe I'll just be a little bit lenient and say that 90% of the people knows about the four Vedas. You ask if you now you have seen a lot of interviews of flash interviews, etc., going in streets. You take a mic and then go and then can you enumerate the four Vedas? So I'm assuming that 90% will be saying, okay, I know that this is Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda. That I think 95%, 90% of the people will be able to tell that. Assuming a TV anchor from some television channel coming and asking this question, I'm assuming 90% will be knowing about it. Now, if you ask something like, can you enumerate how many mandalas, how many parts are there in Rig Veda? So then the number of people who answer will be lesser. So that is another level of scholarship. So there'll be still more, at least lakhs of people who will be able to tell that, okay, there are 10 mandalas in Rig Veda. So there will be that is the next level of scholarship. So and then you go a little bit tougher questions, which is the oldest mandala of the Rig Veda. Then very less number of people. But now you are part of this course, so you will be able to tell, okay, oldest mandala is sixth mandala. But this is a little bit higher knowledge. Maybe only 5% or 3% of the population in India will be able to tell that. But you have that knowledge. So similarly, I have said that why I'm telling you that many number of people knows about Sarama and Pani. So Pani and Sarama or the Panis are a little bit familiar in the Ṛgvedic knowledge. But of course, in terms of percentage, when you question people, maybe 1% of the people will be able to tell. So it is similarly, the Nadi Sukta is very famous. That is where I am coming from. So Nadi Sukta is known to a large number of people. So they will tell, okay, there is a Nadi Sukta in the Rig Veda. It is in the 10th mandala. And they will be, some of the people will be also be able to enumerate the rivers. Around 21 rivers, exactly 21 rivers are mentioned in the Nadi Sukta. And this is you believe it or not, the Rig Veda has 10 mandalas and 10,500 plus rigs or slokas. Like if you use the terminology of the Itihasas, it's slokas. Ṛgvedic terminology is the rig. So you have 10,500 plus stanzas in the Rig Veda. And you have 1,024 suktas. But it is only one sukta which gives you 21 river names just immediately, like in a single sukta, there are 20. So, and there is a big significance for Ganga, because there is a river enumeration inside the Nadi Sukta, which is actually a sukta in the 10th mandala of the Rig Veda. Nadi Sukta is in the 10th mandala, 75th sukta. So in that, there is a enumeration of the rivers, and it starts with Ganga, like Imam Me Gange Yamune Saraswati Sududri Stomam Sachata Parushnya Asiknya Marudbrita Vidastaya Arjikiya Sunya Sushomaya. So there is this is how this sukta is starting, and the first river that is mentioned is Ganga, and that is the significance that I am talking about. And this is also a headache for the Aryan innovation theorist, because the enumeration makes it very clear that the rivers are enumerated from east to west. And that is another point. And then Ganga is first, then comes Yamuna, and then comes Saraswati, and then comes Sududri. So if you are able to see the map right here. So if I say that this is Ganga, then the Sutta talks about the Yamuna, then Sutta talks about Saraswati, and then talks about the Karsari. So this is a Sududri. So let me see if I can bring all those rivers together in one location.